obviously you're part of the Texas franchise one of the 3 times, maybe more than one time that the team had the #1 overall pick. I guess twice. The second time was in 2006 when I think it's fair to say a lot of people were shocked when the team selected Mario Williams rather than the Heisman Trophy winner,
Reggie Bush.
Right. Take us through that decision and kind of how that developed and I guess the evolution of that selection as well.
That whole experience was kind of neat because, well, I guess the process, every time he asks me a question, there's a story involved in this, but so it's hard to answer the questions. But what was kind of frustrating, I guess, when we started the Texans, our head coach was Dom Capers, and we came in and we had the expansion draft, then we had the regular draft. David Carr was our top pick. We wanted a quarterback, so we went with him, and then so between the expansion draft and the regular draft, we kind of formed a team. And I think our first year we won 4 games. We beat Dallas, the opening game of the Reliance Stadium. And then I think do you remember the records? Anyway, we won 4. Then I think we maybe won 6. Then I don't know whether we won. We got to 6. I don't know that we ever went 8-8. Yeah, 7 and 9. And then the 4th year we only won 2 games. And so Mr. McNair fired Dom Capers. And we were kind of frustrated with that because he never said that we had to win in 4 years. But you can't argue with the owner. The owner does what he wants to do. So anyway, he fired Dom. And I was, Charlie, I'm originally from Colorado, and he would let me go to Colorado to do the scouting. So when I was in the college scouting, he'd let me go to Colorado and Colorado State and to do any scouting in Colorado because my family was there, so he'd let me go see the family. So anyway, when I went into the pro side of it, he let me follow the Denver Broncos. So I was really impressed with that offense, and I liked Kubiak, and I liked the way he handled things. And so I was kind of a proponent of Kubiak. And so long story short, we make Kubiak the head coach. And so we go into that 2006 draft with Charlie as the lead scout, or the general manager still. So what was interesting was Charlie had this great system. We had great college scouts. I was in the pro side of it at the time. We had good pro scouts. So we had a really good staff, but we were what you call a scout-driven organization. The scouts made the decision on on the picks. Denver, on the other hand, and this was kind of a difference of philosophies, they were more of a coach-driven organization. And that is that the scouts, they would have scouts, and they'd come in and they'd give them the information from what they found out from the film work and the visitations at the schools and such. But the coaches would then take the film and do the evaluations, and so the coaches kind of made the picks in the draft. So here were these 2 philosophies at work at the beginning of 2006, which was really interesting because there were some situations where there was buttons of heads where, why do you do it this way? And well, we do it this way because of this, and so on and so forth. But the 2 of them kind of blended real nicely, and I think we're really proud, or the people that were associated with it were really proud of that draft because it was one of the most productive drafts that we've had. We were talking about it, so we took Mario Williams and D'Amico Ryans and Owen Daniels, and all those guys have produced throughout their career, and here it is. 2014, 2015, and those players are still producing. And so it was a really productive draft in that sense. But what were you asking?
More about
the decision. Okay, the decision. Okay. okay, we boiled down after meetings and evaluations and going to the combine and working out in the spring and this, that, and the other thing. It kind of came down to either Mario Williams or Reggie Bush. And what was really fascinating was that we had one big meeting where most of us were in there with Mr. McNair and some of his people from the business side. And they had two coaches. Bob Carmilowicz was the defensive line coach for the Texans at the time. Well, he loved Mario Williams. And Chick Harris was the running back coach. He's a good friend of mine, and he's an extremely good coach. He stayed with the Texans up until this last change of coaching staff. And so he was a proponent of Reggie Bush. So they did this presentation in front of Mr. McNair, and Chick did a good job, but he kind of let the film do the work. He you put up Reggie Bush on the film, and you let it go, and he was a Heisman Trophy winner, and he was fast and quick and really a productive season, and so he kind of let that do the work. Well, Bob Carmilowicz was this type of guy. He was just a real character, kind of. He ended up, he passed away a couple years ago, but he was our defensive line coach up at the Lions as well. Just a unbelievable character. He's the one of these guys that when he got on somebody, boy, they thought he was the best player, whatever. And it just, so he put on the film, but he would stop it, and okay, now the angle of his foot is in a position that he's going to plant and drive, and he's got this acceleration and all this, and he just went just overboard in the explanation of what he liked about Mario Williams. And I think it sold a lot of people that this was the better selection. I mean, Mario Williams was a big, strong, he was like 6'9", 295 pounds, and he ran the 40 in like 4.6 or something like that. And so that was the kind of the thing as far as the presentation of the individual players. Now there's still a division. So Charlie had a big meeting in the scouting room, and everybody was in there. All the college scouts, all the coaches that were on the staff and on the pro staff.
How long before the draft is taking place?
Oh, I think it was the week of the draft. And so, because we hadn't made up our mind yet. But I think Charlie had made up his mind, but because Charlie had kind of liked Mario Williams in the preseason. He liked him all the way through, but he wanted everybody's opinion. So everybody went around the room, and they had their opportunity to say what they thought the strengths and weaknesses of the different picks would be. And one of the kind of more interesting picks was the offensive coordinator, who at the time was Troy Calhoun, who's now the head coach at the Air Force Academy. And he had been with the Denver Broncos for a while, and he made a great point, because and I was kind of surprised, because I thought all the offensive people would want the running back and Reggie Bush, and the defensive people would want Mario Williams. But Troy Calhoun came up and said, with our offense, we've always had success in the running back position, regardless of where we took them in the draft. We didn't take high draft picks, or they didn't take high draft picks, and their running backs were still successful because of the system that they ran. They ran this zone concept of blocking and everything, and so they took running backs in the 5th, 6th round, and they became all pro. Well, who's the one guy? Terrell Davis. You all know Terrell Davis. Nobody knows Terrell Davis. Anyway, he played with John Elway. You know John Elway? Okay, John Elway. Okay, good. We're on our way. All right. But anyway, but he brought that point up, and I thought that was a really interesting point, that he thought that that they could pass on the running back. They didn't need him in the first round take the defensive lineman, and then we could and get a running back down the road. And so that's what we eventually did. Yeah.